The question, for those who couldn't hear it, was about the Holy Father, the Pope, and his talks about climate change. I've got a lot of respect for the Pope. I think it's interesting. Whenever the Holy Father says something that's perceived to be liberal, the mainstream media pays a lot of attention to it. When the same Pope talks about the sanctity of human life or traditional marriage, it doesn't seem to get nearly as much attention. In terms of climate change, here's what I believe. Does human activity have an impact on our environment? Sure. Now, how much of an impact and what are those consequences? I'll leave that for the scientists. This is what I believe from a policy perspective. Number one, I think you can protect your environment and have a strong American economy and affordable energy. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Unfortunately, we've got a president who doesn't seem to believe that. I think he wants energy to be scarce and expensive. Secondly, I don't think we should be taking any actions that unilaterally hurt our own economy. One of the reasons I'm deeply critical of what this president has done, is trying to do with his deal with China, is it imposes grave damage on America's economy that delays any acts by China. There's no real enforceable mechanism. If we're to take actions, it needs to be in concert with the countries we compete with, we trade with, especially China and other countries. It doesn't do any good for the environment. It certainly doesn't do any good for our economy to export good-paying American jobs to other countries. In my state, for example, we fought to convince Nucor to build their steel plant in Louisiana. They are, and they have built the first phase. They were considering going to Brazil. One of their considerations was the EPA. One of their considerations was what the regulations were going to be. How does that benefit the economy if they move those jobs overseas? I will say this, how does that benefit the environment? It certainly doesn't benefit the economy if they move those good-paying jobs overseas. I will say this about the free market economic system. I think it's like Churchill described democracy. Churchill criticized democracy. He said it was the worst system except for all the alternatives. That's how I think about the free market system. Is it perfect? No, it's a human system. No human system is going to be perfect. When you look in the last several years, the free market economic system has helped hundreds of millions of people escape poverty. It has done more to help those people than any other economic system out there. I think the Holy Father, I think the Pope does a good job reminding us to care for the least amongst us. I think as a Christian that's an important obligation. It comes straight out of Scripture, comes straight out of the Gospel, comes straight from Jesus. I'm glad he's doing that. I'm glad he's challenging us. I would encourage spiritual leaders to address the issues of the day, to provide their input. I think we need their input. I think we're richer for their input. Doesn't mean I'm always going to agree with it, but I think it's a good thing when spiritual leaders weigh in on important issues. Unlike the left, I don't want to take God out of the public square. Doesn't mean we're always going to agree.
Undercurrent, under the surface.